So, Coach Blake Harvard, you are the first ever teacher spotlight for this new thing that we're doing.
I am.
Thanks for doing
Correct,
it, buddy.
I agree. No,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
I appreciate it.
A lot of people in this district don't know who you are. Everybody at James Clemens obviously knows who you are, so this might be a good opportunity for them to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
Who are you and what do you do here?
I'm a lot of things, I think.
Okay.
Definitely a teacher. I teach AP Psychology, AP Government, and regular psychology. I've taught Government Econ, Modern US. So as a teacher, those are the courses I teach. I'm head coach of the varsity boys soccer team.
Having a pretty good season.
We're rocking and rolling.
I know.
We're rocking and rolling, man. It's fun to be a part of that. Great kids.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how good they are, honestly. Head freshman football coach. So that's pretty awesome. You know, and just in general, I think I'm just like a positive light around here.
And,
Try to be positive.
and 2 small children?
Man, they're awesome. Eli's 3 and Hattie's 1, and they are like, it's ridiculous. I can't believe how awesome they are. Yeah.
Can you squeeze more into your day, is what I'm asking.
I'll have to ask my wife.
Okay. So, did you have a life before teaching? Like, what's your story?
Sure. So my mom was a teacher, right? So I've been around it for a while. She taught for 37, 38 years. And I was, you know, pretty athletic. And when I graduated, I got to play some soccer in college at the University of Montevallo. 4 years, got my undergrad in history, majored in history, minor in political science and kinesiology.
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 What's
It's fancy for PE.
Okay, got
Basically,
it.
I learned how to tell people to run a lap.
Okay.
And then stayed for another year and a half. Got my master's in secondary ed. You know, as soon as graduated, taught a year at a school in the Shelby County Schools, and then I've been up here ever since. Been at James Clemens.
At James Clemens ever since.
Well, no, I taught in Decatur City.
Oh, that's right.
For about 5 years, and I've been here since day one of James Clemens, since there was still construction and dirt on the ground.
Okay, so the next question is kind of a 2-parter, or you might think of it as one, I don't know. First part is, what drives you, like in general?
Mm-hmm.
And the second part of it is, at what point in your life did you kind of realize, hey, I've been missing it this whole time. That's what I want to be an educator. You know, was there a critical moment that you can think of?
Yeah, you know, I don't know that there was like this one thing that happened, and I said I need to be a teacher. I do remember, again, my mom has been an educator for 37, 38 years, and I just always remember kids at school saying how much they hated school, and I think one day I just kind of looked back and was like, I don't feel that way. You know, I like being here. I like learning. I like this. I mean, certainly as a teenager, I like the social aspect of it all. You know, and then obviously respected my mom and what she did and how hard she worked for the kids. And I thought, you know, that's kind of what I want to do. My mom was in special education, and you know, I heard success stories of kids coming back to her and saying, "Thanks for working with me," and you know, I graduated because of you, and things like that. You know, that's extremely powerful.
Yeah.
You know, what drives me, I think, in a weird way, I think happiness drives me. And teaching makes me happy. I love being here. I love being around these kids. I just love my job, you know?
Yeah.
So I think happiness drives me.
Every time you hit the button, you get the cheese.
Yeah.
Every time you come to work,
B.F. Skinner, operant conditioning.
That's right. Are you a psychologist or something?
I psychology daily.
You psychology daily.
I do, yeah.
I do too. I just don't teach it.
Mm.
All right, cool. Can you think of a mistake that you've made as an educator? I know we all have hundreds, hopefully, that has mattered in some way.
Yes. And this is something that I don't know. I feel passionate about this one thing more than a lot of things, which is really strange. I remember thinking as a brand new teacher, first year, that I had to be good at everything all at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do know.
I had to have mastered iNow and my curriculum and classroom management and everything. And I had to be good at it day one. And I was lucky enough to have a principal who was just kind of like, relax. We don't expect you to be the best at everything. Pick and choose the most important things. Be good at those things. And then next year, find something else new to be good at.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I hate for new teachers to feel overwhelmed because they think that they've got to be good at everything right away.
Yeah.
So I think the second that I realized that and kind of I was told just work on the big stuff right now.
There you
The
go.
small things will follow.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you call that I don't know if you call that dark. It was dark until I figured it out.
Yeah. I've
Extremely
definitely
stressful.
been there. I had
Yeah.
a similar experience. My first principal was Sally Brewer at Liberty
Mm-hmm.
Middle School. When she hired me, she said, you know, Daniel, if you spend the whole first month of school and don't ever do an assignment or take a grade, as long as you're working on building relationships with
Yep.
your kids, we're going to be okay.
Yep. Oh,
and
I
that
agree.
took this giant, heavy load off of me,
Sure.
you know. So I've been in a similar situation.
Yeah.
So let's kind of shift gears for a second.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about technology integration in
Mhm.
the classroom.
Sure.
In your classroom, but in the classroom, just in general. Like, what's your take on it? Why does it matter?
You know, I think on one level it matters because that's where the kids are. You know, the classroom from the days of yore. No, it's not. That's not the same classroom that we have right now. We don't have the kids. Literally, their brains are wired differently. You know, so we can't use old techniques. You know, they don't work anymore. I think it's, you know, it's definitely an aid.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it is the classroom yet, but it's something that can further education. It's another way to reach children where they are.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be awesome? Why couldn't it be awesome?
Yeah.
You know?
I've walked by your room before and seen students sitting out in the hallways with headphones on watching a TED Talk.
Yeah.
Is it that sort of thing something that you use fairly frequently?
Yeah, I kind of gotten away from it this year, but just because of, you know, the winter that we had.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that I'm the keeper of all the answers and of all the knowledge. Why does all of the information have to come from my mouth, so to
Right,
speak? You know,
right.
like let
And
somebody else.
technically it can't. I mean,
Sure.
you really don't have all the answers.
Correct.
Yeah.
I agree.
Regarding technology, but just teaching in general,
Mm-hmm.
how can what you do well inspire other teachers? Is there something, is that something that's active in your mind? Do you think about that frequently? Do you think about sharing the things that you do well? Are there avenues for that?
I think I do. I think one of the most powerful ways to be, you know, inspiring and help other teachers is just to be a positive person.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, I do.
It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with curriculum or technology. It's just be someone who's positive, be uplifting. I think that's something to share with others. You know, and I like sharing all of my teacher stuff also. But in, you know, coming from a kind of a psychology standpoint, you know, your mindset affects you more than just about anything else.
Totally.
You know?
What about, let's talk about your students. I know you and I have had talks in the past about this, but I know that you see your students as individuals. I know that you don't see them as one clump, you know, of people.
Certainly.
How do you kind of negotiate that? How do you teach them in similar ways, but still like maintain that identity for each of the kids? And how do you address their individual passions in class?
Sure.
I know you could write a book on it, but give me the short version.
Yeah, psychology is awesome. Let me just say that. Being the AP psychology teacher is phenomenal, because it just the curriculum itself allows me to be able to do that. Some people are really interested in certain aspects of psychology and others not so much, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I guess, you know, student ownership of work is the teacher, I think, the teachery phrase I'm supposed to say here. But just letting them find what they're passionate about within the material, you know?
Yeah.
And then letting them, again, not me standing at the front dispensing all of the information. You know, quite often, you know, students will say that they saw this on YouTube or they saw this here, and we'll check it out and see what it's about. And
letting
you know,
them drive a little bit?
Exactly, for sure, certainly. I mean, I'm very, very lucky to have the kids that I have in class. They're awesome.
You got some good ones.
I've got some good ones. They're awesome. So, you know, it's fun to be able to create the environment that allows that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm big on environment in the classroom too. So to be able to create that environment of, hey, I saw this. This has to do with what we're talking about. Well, let's stop what we're doing. Let's go check it out. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
I know that we all try to push the boundaries of what we can achieve in our classrooms. You know, that's what we strive to do, is to push the boundaries of what we can accomplish in a given semester or in a given 4 walls or whatever. But in that realm of thought, where do you see your classroom and or the average classroom in 5 years or 10 years? What do you think is happening and will happen? What do you hope will happen?
I think, again, I think it's becoming more of a, it's not a four walls thing. It's not, you have to be seated at this desk to learn.
Yeah.
And if you're not sitting down right here, then you can't be learning properly. I think it's moving much more worldly, and I think that's really cool. I think, that's how the world operates. These kids, aren't going to have a job where they're supposed to answer 1 through 10 and then turn it in.
Right.
So I think education is headed that way. Definitely is at James Clemens, and it's fun to be a part of, and it's fun to see it going that way. And I think, again, dealing with different types of students than when I was a student, when you were a student even, they need that, I think. I think that's where we're headed. I mean, we're moving that way with the options open, even right now.
That's true. That's definitely true.
That's where we're going, I think.
This is kind of off the grid of the questions, but how do you think it's going to feel for the average American teacher to go there? Do you think, like at James Clemens, do you feel liberated to go there, to attempt those things and to push beyond?
Oh, man. I welcome it.
I set you up for that one. What if
No,
you
that's-
said no right now
yeah.
and threw this up on YouTube?
No, but I'll do the government online. No, I mean, that's why I kind of jumped on the idea of doing online government right now in the summer, like a month away, basically.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why, if somebody's got to do it, why can't it be me? Why can't it be me that kind of breaks through a little bit and pays a little bit of a trail, or pilots just this program?
Let's consider for a second that we're lucky to be in Madison City, or
True.
we're lucky to be at James Clemens, for instance.
Definitely.
What do you think it may feel like for other teachers in other parts of the United States who maybe don't feel as liberated to get weird, to do strange things, to be innovative? Like, what do you foresee, like, the national sort of conversation looking like as we push through these things? Is we're breaking this giant traditional mold that's hundreds of years old.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think it may feel like for these people?
Well, I mean, just like anything new, I think it's going to be scary. It's a jump. It is. I'm sure it was a jump for the leaders of Madison City to say, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Because it's breaking status quo. But I think eventually it's where we're all going. I think
us vulnerable too, isn't it?
Oh, certainly, yeah. But again, you don't. I think my quote of the day calendar the other day, maybe even yesterday, was like, if you've never made a mistake, then you've never tried anything.
Yeah. Right.
Like, this is how you get better. This is how the world progresses.
Yeah.
It's through stepping out. Like, you got to do that, or you're just run of the mill like everyone else.
So maybe sort of part of the national conversation or worldwide conversation needs to be like, we as educators need to become willing to fail.
Certainly.
There's such a taboo.
And our students
on
need to
failure
see that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
we need to be transparent about that.
Yeah. Like, I need to show my kids in class how badly I dance.
Yeah. Options
I would
open
fail
may
at that.
fail. I hope not.
Right.
I don't think it's going to fail. We're working really hard
No,
at
I
it.
don't think it will.
But we're willing to go there.
Let's try.
Yeah.
Failure is just like a stepping stone to getting somewhere great,
Yeah. I guess this is sort of the last one.
All right.
What have we missed? What have we not talked about? What do you feel super inclined to say right now to the world? Because I mean, this is going to be on YouTube for everybody to see. What do you need to say?
I think students need to see healthy relationships. I love to tell my students how much I love my kids and my wife. I love to tell them what we did this weekend.
Yeah.
I love to tell them the cute thing that Eli and Hattie did, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they need to know that, I don't know, I feel like there's this stigma of you become a teacher, you become an adult, and you've got to be straight-laced, and you've got to be, but it's okay for me to love my wife. It's okay for me to love my kids. It's okay to have healthy relationships. It's okay for teachers to be friends.
And to be transparent about all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think they need to see healthy relationships,
Yeah. I think,
even in the classroom with their teachers.
Yeah.
I feel like that's lacking. I'm not saying it's a soft skill necessarily, but it's certainly a life skill. That is, in some ways more important than when did World War II begin.
Yeah. I would say that arguably more important than instruction is modeling
Definitely.
for students.
Definitely.
And I think that's something that gets passed over a lot, and I think that's what you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
modeling behaviors is critical.
Certainly.
And if we're asking them to collaborate,
Yeah.
well, who are you collaborating with, Coach Harvard?
Exactly.
You know?
I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it very much.
Oh, it's
and
been
this
fun.
has been the first installment of Teacher Spotlight.
Mhm.
So thanks again, man.
No, thank you so
Take it
much.
easy.
I
I'll see you
appreciate it, buddy.
soon. All right.